Every day, the average person reads a few thousand words. Whether it's the morning newspaper, internet articles, or school textbooks, the texts we read shape the way we think. However, when it comes to learning science, textbooks are often filled with complicated words that non-expert readers cannot make sense of. Is there anything we can do to make learning science easier? Researchers working with the Carl Wieman Science Education Initiative at the University of British Columbia have shown that major improvements can be made to student performance with small changes. In a study carried out in early 2014 at UBC, Dr. Megan Barker and Dr. Lisa McDonnell found that students who learned concepts before learning technical language scored higher on test questions. Dr. Barker explains how this experiment was done.
We used the textbook pre-reading, the same as is normally used in the course, and we changed it as little as possible. We wanted the only thing that we changed to be the terms that were the new terms. And for the purposes of this study, anything that was considered new by the textbook, we considered a new term. So usually what that means is you look through the textbook and there's a bolded term and then a definition right after, right? You've seen that in textbooks. So we took those bolded terms and we replaced them with something that didn't have new terms embedded in it, and it was just a straight swap.
Dr. Barker and Dr. McDonnell split a first-year biology class into two groups. One group studied a modified text before class, in which jargon was replaced with everyday words. The other group studied the original text. The topic was introductory DNA structure.
We took purine, and we called that a large base, and pyrimidine, we call that a small base. So they're not perfect overlaps in the sense of, they're two different pyrimidines and they're both different from each other, and it doesn't necessarily capture all of the chemical information that would be captured in drawing the structure. But for our purposes, we wanted to get the key concept of that term in a plain language.
Students in both groups were then given the same test, and a striking difference was seen in their scores. The students who read the jargon-free pre-reading scored on average 2 times higher. Dr. Barker explains why the concepts for students may have performed better.
The more integrated and connected your learning is, or your knowledge is, or your facts are, or your terms are, the more integrated and connected all that is together in your brain, the more you can access it and the more you can apply it to other situations. Yeah. So taking a collection of understanding of facts and maybe the terms associated with them and bring that at a higher conceptual level, to me, it's got a sense of it's more connected in your head, and you can retrieve and apply that knowledge in.
But Barker and McDonnell are not proposing that jargon be removed from teaching in science. In fact, what they suggest is far from that.
The point is not to get rid of jargon at all. That was
Absolutely.
not our point. The point was to make it so that you understand the concept better, and that way when you use the jargon, you're using it more appropriately, or you have a stronger foundation of understanding behind that jargon instead of just using it without knowing what it means.
Yeah, jargon's super useful, right?
Yep.
This is how scientists communicate, because it's the language that we know.
People retain conceptual knowledge much longer than they do more factual-based knowledge. So the more of your learning experience that is conceptual-based or higher level, the more likely you are to take that knowledge with you when you leave university and then potentially apply it to other situations. So I think in terms of generating informed or scientifically literate citizens, conceptual-based teaching is helping to achieve that goal.
Looking into the future, it is becoming more important for us to be educated in science. In the face of pressing issues like global warming, changing energy sources, and genetic modification, it is crucial that people are able to make good decisions based on informed scientific understanding.